Well, hello grade 9 geometry students. This is the chapter 2.2 bisecting angles recording. You're going to see a lot of things in this section that are a lot like chapter 2.1, bisecting segments. Let's review what bisect means. Bi means two. Sect means to cut, so this is a prefix, this is a root word. You're going to cut each of the angles into two congruent parts. So we have another symbol I want you to know the word for, which is congruent symbol. It looks like an equal sign with a little wave over the top. And congruent, once again, means equal or the same. And we have one other word that we're going to add in. And the other new word you're going to have for this section is angle bisector. And basically that's a ray that divides a larger angle into two congruent angles. Okay, we're going to the bottom of the page now, to page 61, the checkpoint activities. And we're going to make note that ray HK, that's your angle bisector, bisects angle GHJ into two congruent angles. And that angle bisector, ray HK, using that idea of an angle bisector, we're going to find the measurement of angle GHK. So GHK and KHJ, so the two smaller angles. Well, even though on number one it looks like maybe this little piece right here, KHJ, is 52 degrees, we know that it's the whole angle that's 52 degrees. So the angle bisector says, okay, if you want to find either the measure of angle GHK or the measure of angle KHJ, so GHK and KHJ, then you are going to take and split this 52 in half. So you're going to take half of 52, or half times 52 degrees, or you could just go 52 degrees divided by 2. Well, we know that that is going to equal half of 50 is 25, and then half of 2 is 1, so 25 plus 1 is 26 degrees. So both of these are going to equal 26 degrees. So they are congruent. The angle bisector means that you're going to have two congruent angles. Okay, I'd like you to try the same thing on angle GHJ. Let me try that again. GHJ. Please note that this is a right angle, so what does that mean? And then this one is an obtuse angle, so the whole thing is 161 degrees. So would you please try finding the measurement of angle GHK, so GHK, and the measurement of angle KHJ on both of these. And then turn it back on as soon as you're done and check to see if you got the answer right. Well, welcome back. Hopefully you got this right. So we know that we're going to be taking either half times 90 degrees or 90 degrees divided by 2. And that's going to equal 45 degrees for each of these angles. And then we come over here, we've got an obtuse angle of 161 degrees, so we're going to take 161 degrees divided by 2, or half of 161 degrees. Let's erase that. So, or half of 161 degrees. Okay, so if you take half of 160, that's 80. And then if you take half of 1, that's 0.5. So each of those angles are going to be 80.5 degrees. I'm going to tidy that up a little bit more. So let me pause. Okay, now we're going to go on to something just a bit more complex. So if you would turn with me to page 62, that would be great. And we could take a look at what's going on 62. Thank you. Okay, we're now on checkpoint page 62. And example 2 would be very helpful for you to look at. I'm going to go through these with you. We have the whole angle PQR on all of these, and it's being bisected by ray QS. So you can see that the angle bisector is ray QS. So QS is bisecting angle PQR. Then you're being asked to find angle SQP. So we're going to do these, we're going to go over these SQP. This is what you're finding right here. You can see that you're given this angle SQR. So that's 29 degrees. You're finding SQP right here and SQP. And you know that the ray QS is an angle bisector. So you know automatically that the angle right next to it, which is adjacent, is going to be the exact same measure because it's congruent. So I'm going to do number 4 for you. So if you look at angle SQP, it's got to be congruent to angle SQR, which is 29 degrees. So angle SQP has to be 29 degrees. Now, the second thing you're being asked for, let's just use a different color, is going to be your angle, the whole angle, PQR, PQR, PQR. That's your entire angle. So let's go ahead and use blue. So now you're going to find PQR. That's the whole angle. PQR and PQR. Well, if you know, you could add them together very easily. I could go 29 and 29 degrees, but I could also just double it. So if I went 29 degrees times 2, well, we know 30 times 2 is 60, so just subtract 2 off of that. That's going to give you 58 degrees. And let me go back and change this to red. So 29 degrees, and then 58 is the whole angle. So I want you to pause the video or the recording and see if you can do numbers 5 and 6 on your own after what we did on number 4, and then turn it back on again when you're finished. Okay, so angle SQP is congruent to SQR, so 45 degrees. And then let's come over to number 6, angle SQP, which is congruent to angle SQR, is going to be 60 degrees. Switch over to blue. Now the whole angle is going to be this is an angle bisector, so these two angles are congruent. You could either go 45 plus 45, or you can simply go 45 degrees times 2, which is 90 degrees. They don't put the little 90 degree symbol in here just because they want to show you that this angle is 45 degrees. Coming over here, we have 60 degrees twice, which is 120 degrees. So 60 degrees 2 times. It's going to be 120 degrees. Now, it asks you whether PQR, that was the big angle, the one that's in blue, and go back over it again if you can't see it. So PQR is that big angle. Is it acute, right, obtuse, or straight? Acute angles are less than 90 degrees. 58 degrees is less than 90 degrees, so it's acute. PQR is 90 degrees. It's exactly 90 degrees, so it's a right angle. Just a review of what we already know. And angle PQR here is greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. Straight angles are 180 degrees. Exactly, they form a straight line. So this is obtuse, because 120 degrees is less than 180 degrees and more than 90 degrees. So you have 3 answers here. You have your 29 degrees, 58, and acute. So all of these have 3 answers. So make sure, big thing on these is that you follow directions. Okay, now we're going to go to the more complicated ones. Okay, now I'd like you to go to page 63, the checkpoint activities. We'll go over the word problems, the one with the kite and the airplane in class. On the checkpoint activity, though, we're going to look at the bottom of page 63. Example 4 is an example that would be good for you to look at. And then we're going to do 9 and 10 on here. So go ahead and take a look at 9 and 10. Okay, so number 9 and 10, the directions are that ray BD, right here, ray BD, it's an angle bisector. It bisects angle ABC on both of these. So that means that both of these angles here are congruent and both of these angles here are congruent. And you're going to find the value of x. It's not asking you to find the degree measurement of each angle, although we may do that, but it's asking you to find out what x is. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set these equal to one another because they're congruent. So 55 degrees is congruent to x plus 12, meaning angle CBD, which you can see right here, is 55 degrees, and it's congruent to angle, let's change our pen color, angle, different color than that, let's do green. It's congruent to angle DBA. And so that is x plus 12. Now, I'm going to need one color to finish this up. You need to isolate your x, which means that you need to subtract 12 from both sides. Now, in the book, they like to subtract 12 here, and they like to subtract 12 here, so negative 12 plus. I prefer, and actually they put it after the 55, they go 55 minus 12. I prefer to put it below, but of course, if you want to put it on both sides and use your properties of equality, that will be okay. But I prefer to do it below, like I did up there. Okay, so now we've got 12 and negative 12 is nothing, so you're left with x. And then we've got 55 degrees minus 12 degrees. 55 minus 10 is 45, minus 2 more is 43 degrees. So x equals 43 degrees, although it doesn't really tell you what the value of that other angle is. We can see that this is obtuse. So if I wanted to find the measure of angle ABD, so this is extra, the measure of angle ABD, that was your green angle, ABD, that's x plus 12. So that's x plus 12. X is 43, so that's 43 plus 12. And we got 43 plus 12 is going to equal 55 degrees. Just as we should have suspected, they're going to be congruent. Is that a good check to do? I would say it is. You need to make sure that you in fact have done your math correctly and that both angles are 55 degrees. So now this one's even a little bit more tricky, so let's see if you can at least set it up, try to solve it. If you're not able to, then, and just do it on a piece of scratch paper, then I'll go through the steps and you can make adjustments to your thinking. Okay, so you have the measure of angle ABD. So the measure of angle ABD is going to be 9x, and that is congruent to the measure of angle DBC, which is, is going to be 8x plus 3. And then you're going to have to collect your x's. You really want your x's to have a positive leading coefficient, so we're going to subtract 8x. So you want your variable coefficient to be positive. 9x minus 8x is x. 8x minus 8x is nothing, and that's going to equal 3. So then, again, that's going to be 3 degrees. You'd want to plug it back in, let's make sure that they're going to equal. So 9 times 3, this is 27 degrees. 8 times 3 is 24 plus 3 is also 27 degrees. So both angles equal 27 degrees, which is important. Okay, that ends this recording. I'll do another recording where we have do the actual word problems so that you have that to refer back to. I hope this has been helpful.